evening.
We may think the doctrine of the Trinity is too complicated or abstract to make much of a difference in our daily life. Yet the mystery of the Most Holy Trinity is the central mystery of Christian faith and life. It is the mystery of God Himself. Well, if I wasn't intimidated about giving a homily on the Blessed Trinity, I certainly was after I read that in my Magnificat. I considered going down the path of an intellectual or theological homily, but that bore no fruit. The Spirit led me to go down the personal path. I elected to sit with this question: who and what is the Trinity to me? Now, in my heart, I see it less as a mystery and more of a revelation of who God is, and a vision of who we are called to be as children of God. In my heart, I see the Trinity as these three key things: the person, the presence of God, and an invitation to participate in the life of the divine. The Catechism teaches us that the Holy Trinity is three distinct persons within one true God. God Himself gave dignity to the person by becoming a communion of persons Himself. The concept of the person is not an abstract one or a complicated one. We come into contact with the human person every day of our lives. Yet the idea of the dignity of the human person has often been abused over the course of human history. I returned from a pilgrimage to Poland this past Wednesday. One of the many sites we visited was Auschwitz-Birkenau. I had been to that Nazi concentration camp once before. The first time I was overwhelmed by what I saw. Hundreds of pieces of luggage, hundreds of prayer shawls, thousands of shoes, each confiscated as people arrived and were marched off to their deaths. I was overwhelmed by the sight of human hair that had been taken from dead bodies and used as fabric for the uniforms of Nazi soldiers. However, this time I was drawn to the images on the pictures on the walls. Photographs of the children, the men, the women, the elderly. I found myself gazing into the eyes of the human person. While not on the scale of the atrocities committed by Nazi Germany, we live in a time where the personhood seems to be under attack. We saw it recently in Washington, D.C. with the murder of two young Israeli embassy employees. We saw it in Gaza in the image of a Palestinian woman literally gathering flour from the streets in Gaza to feed her family because there was not enough aid being allowed in. We saw it in Boulder, Colorado with an attack with a makeshift flamethrower and Molotov cocktails. Brothers and sisters, forgive me. We see it with our own Department of Homeland Security, with the radio advertisements that speak of illegal aliens rather than of persons who are in our country illegally, with the photo opportunities of the Secretary of Homeland Security standing before a cell packed with tattooed men in orange jumpsuits, as if they're somehow a trophy. Just today, a Minnesota lawmaker and her husband were shot and killed, and another lawmaker and his wife were shot and remain in grave condition in what appears to be a politically motivated attack. My heart aches, and I ask myself, when will it stop? I cannot help but wonder if we're beginning to forget that beyond the causes, the policies, and the programs that we're all passionate about lies its impact on the human person. Respect for the dignity of the person, maybe that is the grace God offers us today on the solemnity of the Most Holy Trinity. The Holy Trinity is also about the presence of God. The Father sent the Son, who sent the Holy Spirit. Ours is a story of the presence of God throughout human history. Our pilgrimage to Poland and to Auschwitz-Birkenau had a profound impact on me. I left that hallowed and haunted place with a sense of profound hope. Yes, hope. Hope that what happened in Block 11, Cell 18 can happen in the world today. Within that dark cell lies a single Easter candle. It was the cell of St. Maximilian Kolbe, who served those in prison with his unshakable faith, and who gave his life for a stranger. Heading to our bus that day, a woman on pilgrimage with us lamented, "Where was God in all of this? Why did he not step in and stop this?" I had no answer for her second question. As for her first question, where was God in all this? I gently put my arm around her and offered her my answer. God was present in the persons of St. Maximilian Kolbe, St. Faustina, and Pope St. John Paul II, each of whom we had encountered on our pilgrimage, each of whom was of Polish descent, each of whom had lived under the Nazi occupation and the oppression of the Soviet communist regime. God may not have been visible to the human eye, but he was present and was at work in the hearts of these great saints. Brothers and sisters, we live in times of great uncertainty. Over the past several weeks, the war between Russia and Ukraine has intensified. The conflict between Israel and Gaza is no closer to being resolved. And now Israel and Iran are sending missiles towards each other. It is easy to be afraid. Yet today, these three simple words from our first reading echo in my heart. I was there. Maybe the grace God offers us today on the solemnity of the Most Holy Trinity is the knowledge of his presence in the midst of all this uncertainty. Finally, to me, the Holy Trinity is about participation. Jesus often referred to his relationship between the Father and his Son of one being in and with the other. I am in the Father, and the Father is in me. Theirs was a relationship of active participation in the life of the other. In a few moments, we will have an opportunity to have an intimate encounter with the Blessed Trinity. Bread and wine, gifts from the Father made by human hands, will be brought forward. During the consecration, Father Tony will call down the Holy Spirit. Shortly thereafter, we will come forward to receive the Son in the real presence of the Eucharist. We will enter into the mystery of the Trinity. We will enter into communion with the Trinity, with a God that literally comes down to dwell within us. In a few moments, through our union with this most holy Trinity, we will receive great graces. And maybe, just maybe, we will be equipped to become that same single Easter candle I found in Block 11, Cell 18, and be the presence of God in the world today.